Junk items in Fallout 3. They are literally everywhere, scattered all over the wasteland, littered around buildings, and cluttered in containers. Compared to Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas, which features much more fleshed out crafting mechanics, junk items in Fallout 3 play a minor role and are mainly collected to trade to vendors or are used to craft one of the many custom weapons found from schematics all over the game. However, some seemingly junk items can be handed into unmarked quests from certain NPCs at certain stages in the game for caps, XP, and sometimes other rewards. Some of these are well known, like donating scrap metal to Walt and Megaton, or trading sensor modules and fission batteries to the Brotherhood Outcasts, but I won't be covering those in this video. Today I'll be covering the lesser known trades of the game, trades that will make you question why you passed on looting that bottle of vodka, or didn't slaughter that Brotherhood of Steel random encounter whilst you had the chance. Stick around and you'll see exactly what you want to be filling your inventory with on your next playthrough. Like I briefly said earlier, I'm not going to be covering the Outcast trades or scrap metal to Walt or Winthrop, because these are well known, and I'm not going to be including the one-off special items like some of the Lincoln items or the Nuka-Cola clear formula, because those have a finite amount. Same goes for the music sheets, there's only 2 of them, so it can't truly be considered junk, even though it technically is. That's enough waffle, let's get into it. First up is one of the lesser known trades of the game, and probably for good reason too. We'll be heading to Little Lamplight, which you'll access during the main quest after gaining favour, or using the Child at Heart perk or passing the speech challenge. And once there, we need to find the settlement's doctor, known as Lucy, and inquire about what grows in Little Lamplight. She'll mention that a particular beneficial cave fungus grows around Little Lamplight, and that she'll happily trade some provided you get permission from Mayor McCready.
Yeah, I'll bet you've heard all about the fungus in my cavern.
And this is where the first issue appears. If you don't speak to Lucy whilst Mayor McCready is leading you to Murder Pass, it'd been quite tiresome trying to find him again. But once you've got his permission, speak to Lucy again, and then you are permitted to trade for the fungus. You can either trade strange meat or Buffout for the fungus. Buffout is more commonly found, but much more useful than the strange meat. The strange thing about this fungus is it's minus 10 rad reduction, while still giving some healing too. So if you're doing a no chem run, this is quite a nice replacement for Radaway, and you can trade the Buffout you won't be using over as well. Outside of no chem runs, it's a niche item that adds a little bit of lore to the area, but that's about it. It's hinted from the terminals and the conversations with the townsfolk that the cave fungus was discovered by the original inhabitants of Little Lamplight, who were a school field trip, their teachers, and the employees of the Lamplight caverns, who were all trapped after the bombs fell. They discovered that the cave fungus removed minor effects of radiation, which is what rendered the cavern's water drinkable and ensured their survival. Also in Little Lamplight, you can find a sweet-toothed young man by the name of Zip, who would honestly give Sierra a rival on the biggest Nuka fan in the game. He loves Nuka-Cola, so much that he'll trade his possessions for the stuff. To be honest, it's mostly just generic loot that I'll show on screen now, but none of it is detrimental and usually more valuable than the cola itself. This can only be done once a day though, so you'll either have to wait a lot or just take what you get as you pass through. Now, most players know Scrab Jameson, who will trade 100 caps and 25 XP for each Brotherhood of Steel holotag you recover for her chapter, found on dead Brotherhood of Steel members. She's found in the A-Ring in case you're unaware. But there are other trades that are possible in the Citadel. Partway through the Broken Steel DLC, Scribe Rothschild will task the player to bring them cameras or sensor modules. The purpose for which I won't mention as it is a slight spoiler, but he offers 100 caps and 25 XP per camera and 75 caps and 10 XP per sensor module. It's worth mentioning you can trade the sensor modules to the Outcasts, but you won't get any XP for this. They're also used for 2 custom weapons. The cameras, however, as far as I can tell, have no other use than decoration to the world or the interiors, and it only weighs 1, meaning it has a 1 to 100 weight to cap ratio. Definitely worth picking up a few if you have the space. Now, another good weight to cap ratio item is the pre-war book. Found all around the game, typically in safes or other secure areas that protected them from damage, the pre-war books can be traded with the Brotherhood of Steel scribe in the Arlington Library, in exchange for 100 caps and 10 XP. The XP you see on screen may be slightly different because I do have an XP modifying perk. Strangely though, only certain pre-war books can be sold here, typically the ones looted from buildings or all around the map. Some of the junk dealers sell books, but there's a chance for them to sell junk books, books you can't turn in disguised as pre-war books. I think they're hinted to be fake or counterfeit as the scribe isn't interested in them and they have a junk item in the menu instead of the book icon, but there is no in-game text to back this up, so it's just my headcanon. The next 2 entries I'll be brief on, as honestly I don't think the rewards on these are worth it for everything involved, and they are the post-quest rewards for Blood Ties and Those, depending on the quest outcome. Keeping the NPCs' names a secret for minor spoilers. For Blood Ties, it's trading blood packs for a measly 15 caps, not even any experience, Adding to it that blood packs can actually be a useful healing item in a pinch, or that there is no way to quickly access the NPC or their area post-quest, the end result is probably more harmful to your playthrough than it is beneficial. And likewise for the quest, those where you are trading Ant Nectar for caps and nothing else. The Nectar is useful for a lot of builds. Admittedly, you get 40 caps there instead of 15, and the NPC is much easier to get to after the quest, but it still isn't worth it. An Addictionalist +4 agility boost with fire resistance is too good to trade for 40 caps. Whilst we're on the subject of post-quest entries, I may as well bring up the Mississippi Quantum Pie. I did a video on this recently, so I won't touch on this too much, but after completing the Nuka-Cola challenge for Sierra, you can sell her any extra Quantums you find, or, as I incredibly only found out recently, after a bit of dialogue you can bring her a flower, a bottle of vodka, and a Nuka-Cola Quantum, and in return she will give you a Mississippi Quantum Pie. A peculiar food item that acts like a chem. It gives +1 strength, -1 intelligence, +5 rads, and +20 AP. The action points for VATs. Sadly, it doesn't restore AP, only boosts it for 4 minutes, but for restricted builds or VAT heavy playthroughs, this can be a game changer, especially when stacked with all the other AP boosters, including a regular Quantum. In a regular playthrough, you're probably better off crafting Nuka grenades with these, but if you're feeling playing a little differently, definitely consider grabbing some. The only hurdle you will come across is the flower. It has only 1 spawn in the base game and only a couple more in Point Lookout. So if you ever come across any in containers or junk vendors, make sure you pick them up. It's crazy that an ingredient for a craftable has so few spawns. Now, as I mentioned in the last entry, anything that boosts AP stacks with other AP boosters, and the biggest AP booster in the game can only be traded from this NPC. Murphy, located in Northwest Seneca Station, has a nice little hustle going on. He manufactures Ultrajet, which is exactly what it says on the tin. Ultra Potent Jet. His issue is the ingredients. He needs sugar bombs to get the formula right. It's never explicitly told what the other ingredients is, but we could assume it's a Braxo cleaner from how much of it he has. Now, Murphy is willing to sell us some Ultrajet, but the price is steep, and I'm not talking caps yet. He wants 8 boxes of sugar bombs per Ultrajet he sells you. Yes, you heard that right. This greedy ghoul wants caps as well as the irradiated cereal. Thankfully, neither are too difficult to obtain. Sugar bombs can be found in refrigerators, food vendors, and scattered across any kitchen or dining area. If you decide to jump through these hoops, Murphy, you will be rewarded with Ultrajet, a +40 AP boost for 4 minutes. 8 minutes if you have the Chemist perk. This can be stacked with every other AP booster in the game, which when combined with a low AP spending weapon such as the 10mm pistol, baseball bat, or the spiked knuckles from the pit, this can result in you spending at least over a full minute in VATs. This isn't just useful for VATs heavy builds, but also for general playthroughs too. Just be warned that the Ultrajet has a much higher addiction chance and a separate addiction from regular jet. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider hitting that like button. I love making videos on the lesser known details of Fallout 3, and it shows me you guys enjoy watching them too. Now, my last 2 entries aren't junk, and they aren't exactly trades either, but I'll still mention them anyway. In the Joy Street Metro tunnels, you can find a strange device, owned, or formerly owned depending on your actions, by a raider named Ryan Brigg. He's non-hostile but can be dealt with however you see fit. His strange device combines the seemingly useless mole rat meat with the junk item Wonderglue to create Wonder Mole Rat Meat, which heals 20 HP or 24 with the food sanitizer, for the small downside of 3 rads. In a normal playthrough, stim packs are the better choice, but in a no-chem run this is a great reliable food source you can grind out, as mole rats are very common and Wonderglue even more so. My final entry takes us over to Paradise Falls, so bring your bad karma or your caps. Once inside, head over to the lock and load where we meet Pronto, the quartermaster for the gang. He says he never has much to trade as all the raiding parties take the good stuff, but if you can bring him 20 Chinese assault rifles, he says he can improve his wares, and to be honest, he becomes arguably the best weapons merchant in the game. If you plan ahead, 20 Chinese assault rifles is not difficult at all, but if you're anything like me, assault rifles are the first things you start repairing with duplicates as soon as you start taking on weight. But they can be found at merchants all over the game and on the bodies of many aggressive NPCs like Super Mutant Masters, and stashed away in armories across the forts. But as I said earlier, the effort is definitely worth it as his upgraded stock ranks amongst the best in the game. Being hostile with the slavers will cause them to be hostile to you though, despite it being in a separate area. So just before I sign off, there is one more trade. Teddy bears at the end of the pit, but once again spoilers prevent me from going into detail, but you aren't missing much. Each teddy bear rewards 30 caps and 10 XP, which isn't a great amount considering they aren't the most commonly found junk item, like most of these on this list, and you have to go through all the effort again to the pit as well. And I'm not just saying that because I don't have the pit installed. But anyway, that's everything I've got for this video. How many of these did you know? Did you know any others that I've missed? let me know below. But either way, thanks for watching, and I hopefully see you in the next one.